Hello, this is me, Joanna, here at our lunch break on Thursdays. Two unusual things right in the beginning. First of all, I'm speaking in English, and usually you hear me speaking in German. And secondly, I am not in front of my computer, but I am in front of these beautiful ladies here, and I will be talking about tourism and how tourism can be sustainable. We are here at the fair here in Berlin, at the tourism fair, and next to me is Claudia Brözel. She will introduce herself and tell us what the heck we're doing here.
Thank you very much, Johanna, for having us. So this is the biggest tourism fair in the world, the ITB. This year, after 3 years, the first time in person, and I'm very happy to be here. I'm coming from the University for Sustainable Development in Eberswalde, and we founded in 2019 the Social Entrepreneurship Competition in Tourism. It's worldwide. It's the only competition for social entrepreneurship in tourism worldwide, and I'm here with the winners. So how does it work? We have a launch track. This is for ideas and things that are not, let's say, founded or go to market, and we have the growth track, and I have two winners here from the launch track, one from last year and one from this year, and a winner from the growth track, and we will hear what they are doing. Thanks a lot for having us.
Yeah, thank you for inviting us here. So first of all, yeah, thank you girls for joining me. I'm super happy that only women seem to have won the competition this and last year, which is a rather good sign. First of all, to you, Paola, can you tell me a bit about your startup, your idea? It is more about ancestral teachers, so which is, as far as I know, an online platform where people can learn about ancestral cultures, etc. So what exactly are you doing?
Yes, thank you, Joanna. Yeah, I am Paola, and I came with the idea of ancestral teacher. I come from Peru, from Cusco, that is the former Inca capital of Peru and the main tourist destination. So, from a very young age, I saw the impact that tourism has on my society. I noticed that more Andean communities are developing products in the Sacred Valley of the Inca, just to mention a destination. But I noticed that they are facing some challenges like short stays and low demand. And that's why I decided to start with Ancestral Teacher in order to invite tourists to these communities and to learn ancestral skills for them. So, for example, I think we all have different hobbies. For example, I like knitting, so it's always interesting to go to a community in Peru and to learn weaving with a community from the natural dyeing, the textiles, the meaning that each icon has, and so on. So Ancestral Teacher is going to be an online platform that gathers community-based tourism projects where travelers can learn or improve skills, technical skills. For example, if you're a coffee lover, you could also go to the north of Peru and visit one of these communities and learn about the coffee production from the locals themselves. No? And I came with this idea also with the aim to create a community of more responsible travelers, because I think sometimes we see communities as maybe they don't have everything, but I think they are really rich in culture, traditions, wisdom, and arts. And this is something that I want to highlight with the project.
But isn't there a risk also that too many tourists are coming and then you actually open up the bubble to too many people and then all this authenticity is actually fading away?
Yeah, definitely. That's one of the main challenges. And that's why at the beginning of the project, I want to send information to the tourists about the communities, about their traditions, about even how they have to behave in the community, what is respectful, what is disrespectful, because I think that is a product that is not for everyone. I am actually a little bit worried about the demand, who is willing to take all this time and who is willing to invest time and money on learning about the community. Because I think they do need this pre-knowledge before they go to the community, because the aim of the project is that at the end of their time in the community, they really value and respect this community, and that they become also kind of promoters of this ancestral wisdom, that we shouldn't see communities as poor, we should see them as rich in traditions, art, wisdom. So also my aim with this project is to create this community of responsible travelers.
And you personally, you've been always like interested in tourism and of course in your own community. So I think the big question is always, can tourism be sustainable as such? Is it possible to have sustainable tourism? Probably it's a huge question with many different aspects of it to it. But what is your first intuition to this question?
Um, I think it is possible. What I think it's missing in the market right now is to find those experiences that are really sustainable. And that's why also for this platform, we created a sustainable criteria to make sure that all the communities that are part of this platform have a positive impact socially, environmentally, and economically on the communities. No? So I think it's possible. I think the experiences are already out there. I know that because it's not only me, it's also them, for example, that are trying to create an impact in tourism. So I think that through collaboration, we can find more of these opportunities and experiences.
And probably also collaborations are like happening on the competition, but also here face to face. Thank you so much. And I also have a question to you, Joanna. You work for a company called Wheel the World, which is specifically focused on or dedicated to accessibility for people that cannot walk anymore. You live in Spain, but the company is based in the US. Can you tell me a little bit more about how everything started and why it started?
Okay, hello. It's a pleasure to be here. So my name is Joanna, and I am product manager at Will the World. And currently, I work from Spain, but we have two offices: one in the United States and the other one in Chile. And everything started in 2018. We're currently an online travel marketplace, and with disabilities, any kind of disability, can find and book from activities to accommodations to multi-day packages. And everything started as a best friend's dream. Our co-founders, which are Camilo and Alvaro, they were good friends at university, and they decided to cover the W trek in Torres del Paine in Patagonia, Chilena, and they did it together. But Albert has a disability; he's in a wheelchair, so it was a huge problem because, well, first of all, they're from Chile, but they didn't know if the accommodations were accessible, if they were rolling showers in the bathrooms, in the accommodations, in these national parks, and at the end, also the trials. It's really tough, no, and in order to do the adventure, they needed a specific wheelchair. So, gathering all of that information, they did the trip, they invested in the trip, and they built a documentary which became viral, and hundreds of people contacted Alvaro and Camilo, being like, "Hey, I would like to do the same, but in Machu Picchu. I would like to do the same, but in Egypt." So slowly but surely, we started to grow. We built other itineraries. We were the first ones in climbing Machu Picchu with a wheelchair user, and at the beginning, it was really focused on adventure travel, and it has developed since the pandemic as well into other kinds of travel because not everyone wants to climb Machu Picchu. So right now what we're doing is to retrieve accessibility information from the tourism services, and this information can go from, for example, if a room in a hotel has a rolling shower, or what's the bed height, and or what's the door width, because depending on every wheelchair, it has a specific measure, and if it's an electrical, it can be bigger. So just for putting all of that information on the website, so whenever clients are traveling to those destinations, they know what to expect, which at the end is the most important part. And yeah, that's a little bit more about us.
And I had a look on the website, and the team is huge. You have many, many people working for this cause. How did you join the team? Why did you decide to actually, like being in Spain, decide to join them?
Yeah, well, that's a great story because I initially started at Will the World as an intern. I loved the world of entrepreneurship, and I had the opportunity to find a fellowship at Berkeley University in San Francisco in 2020, just when pandemic started. So I went there. I stayed for 4 months, and that's how I found Alvaro Camilo, the co-founders. Well, Camilo, because Alvaro is based in Chile, and well, I applied, I got in, and I started to work as an intern. And since then, I'm working at Build the World. And I've been also at the office in Chile working with them, but now I'm working remotely from Spain. We're 50 right now at the team from different locations around the world. So yeah, it feels really cool to work with them.
But at the moment, all the travel experiences are in the US, right?
No, they're all
Okay.
around the world. We have the United States, we have South America, Europe, Africa. At the end, Will the World works with all of the operators that are willing to enter the accessible travel market, which is a really a long-term perspective. No, there's a lot of economic. It's a huge market on accessible travel. At the end of the day, it was something that we were discussing yesterday. All of us are going to age, and in 2050 15% of 50% of today's population is going to be above 60 years old, and aging comes with disabilities, we like it or not. So everything needs to be accessible.
Makes a lot of sense. And your company already exists. I mean, as you said, you already have 50 people working for the same cause. What are the biggest challenges in the near future, or in the future in general?
I think the biggest challenges are to nurture operators in accessible travel. And it's something that I was talking with Paola before, that it's sometimes frustrating to come to these trade fairs because you don't find the space to define what accessible travel is. You talk with operators, and yes, I've gathered a few groups with certain type of disabilities, but they don't have the knowledge, or they don't see the huge opportunity that it is, because right now we're not offering the best service, and people with disabilities are spending a large amount of money every day, because it's not just someone in a wheelchair, it can be someone with scratches, seniors. So the biggest challenge is to take operators, to nurture them out of accessibility, and to help them join this community, because at the end we work as just an intermediary, because we don't offer the activities ourselves, we work with people. So it's to train them and to make them join the community and the whole enterprise that we're building with travel.
What you both are saying makes a lot of sense to me, I have to say. And I'm looking very much forward to also hearing more from you, maybe at next year when I'm going to interview you again, when you come back and tell us
Hopefully.
about your experiences from doing it without the year. But now I'm looking to you, Marielle. You already been there last year. You won last year at the competition from Claudia. Can you tell me a little bit about your camp, what you're doing? And also, yeah, later on, I would like to know what happened in the last 12 months.
Yes, thank you for inviting me to be here. This is a great platform for all the entrepreneurs to share ideas, definitely, and connect. I am so happy to kind of come back after a year and kind of look into what happened in the past and where we are now. The Kaspegi English and Nomadic Culture Camp is a 30-day cultural immersion where we invite tourists to spend time and live with the nomadic families in Western Mongolia. We're talking about the culture of nomads and the eagle hunters, and it actually, this was by accident. It wasn't something I came up with as an idea. It was an idea born out of a lot of nights drinking milk tea at my host family in Western Mongolia, in this village called Sagsai with 5,000 people. And the reason why I was drinking milk tea with my co-founder Bakit Kul Altai was was stranded in Mongolia for 294 days.
Oh my
So
God.
there's a backstory. And then she told me her vision for the eagle hunting, her frustrations with the tourism industry where their voices were not being heard. There are no conversations about what they want and desire for their own community. I don't know if you're familiar with Mongolia and the eagle hunters, but the only existing tourism for them is the annual eagle hunting festival. It's almost like showcasing them, like in a display, but there's hardly any interaction. It's a few hours of taking photos and videos, and then tourists go home. And to them, that feels very much a commodification type of tourism that we can do better than that. How can you miss out on the conversations with the eagle hunters and sit down in their homes? That's really a big piece that's missing in that whole scenario. I was frustrated because I was stranded, so I had a lot of time and to think about it and feel my frustration. And so I told Baha, you know what, maybe we can create something, what you want. And she said, I want people to stay in my community for 30 days and just to get to know us. I'm like, 30 days, Baha? That's a long time. And I think that's actually one of the biggest challenge. But you know, when you're an entrepreneur, not everyone's going to be agreeing with your idea. It's only a select few who really ally around your vision. And so we accepted that, and we went with it with the tourism competition last year. And I told everyone we're doing 30 days. There was a challenge with that because people are looking at me, like Paula said, who's going to buy this? Who's going to join you? 30 days is a long time. It's like, I understand, but you know what? It's life changing. You do it, and we only have select spots, only like 6 to 8. That's how we limit we talked about like the authenticity, right? That's how we're gonna control the level of authenticity, because I was also challenged on that end. You want to teach English to the kids, that's going to open doors for modernity and technology, and maybe they might want to leave their village, and I'm like, I understand. So let's find a balance between cultural preservation and creating those options for them too, because we should be free to choose for the future generation to be able to say, I want to live in the village, but be a valuable member, but still go out there and see the world. It's a very fine balance. We're still dealing with it, and probably that's thing we're doing now. But as far as the project goes, we launched last year in June of 2022, thanks to the Social Entrepreneurship Competition. It became a reality. We had bookings. It became real. It was such an idea around the table in a milk tea, and then less than a year later, it was real.
So people
And
are actually like visiting now?
yes, we had 6 foreigners come last year, German and
Wow.
Americans, and they learned so much. And the thing, my approach to it as an outsider, because I was the only non-Kazakh nomad in the group, I let the Kazakh run it. I wanted to see how they see tourism from their view, and I would help them out when they have questions. It's also a lesson on how to be an outsider, partnering with a local community, a tourism that I don't own. And I just give them most of the deference because I will never own that tourism. It belongs to them.
And what did those people say after they visited the camp?
They're still talking on WhatsApp all the time. Not that that's bad, but I'm like, oh wow, I guess we're gonna be friends forever. We're a family now. And I think that's Candy, one of the participants from Germany, would send gifts, and to kids every year for Christmas. And they always say, we miss the kids, we want to see how they're doing. And we only have 50 students, and our plan is to continue teaching the same group of students to monitor progress. And we're hoping maybe we can use this model for other communities. Language equity is real. There is a reason why the tourism is always being used. We speak in English, right? If you don't speak English, it closes doors on you for opportunities, even travel writing. Let's talk about storytelling. And I think that in the future, my biggest idea for Kuzbegi is, I want an eagle hunter to tell the story in English. They themselves will be telling it directly, not like journalists from BBC, from US media companies coming there and just spending a day to interview them. Wouldn't it be great to hear from them and be able to connect with the world directly with no more, middle person? And to me, that's my personal dream for this. It's storytelling, but it's also cultural preservation, as well as opportunities for them to travel abroad with English.
I can feel the energy.
You should come. It's always heavenly. I mean, I think everyone just really, they got something out of it in different levels. It could be more personal enrichment. It could also be learning about community tourism, that it changed their view as a tourist, that they will never, ever do tourism in another way again, like commodified. They want to be more intimate. They want slow travel. And I think it's all about mindsets. What we do as entrepreneurs, we're also changing mindsets. And I think that's the most important part. You can't do social change without individually thinking about how to persuade people to think differently about their approach.
Each of you are planting the seeds of a different future, of tourism, which is also thanks to you, thanks to your competition, thanks to your work. So yeah, maybe tell us a little bit about the future of the competition. What is happening this year? What can we expect?
Thanks a lot. So for me, it is always really, something very special to meet. And this year we meet the first time in person here on ITB. We are also very thankful to Rika Jean-François. She really organizes that we have this session. And as I said yesterday in our session for 2023, the competition will go into a deep dive. We will work on our structure. We will work on more research and on our criteria, how to access. And we would like to come back in 24 at ITB. And we will invite also the former winners, that we can see next year what happened in 23 in the winners' organizations or companies. Yeah, and hopefully you are also there next year. So then we have a 2-year-old and a 1-year-old winners. Yeah, we will be back in 24, and hopefully everybody who is interested follows us on social media. We will inform everybody on when we open the competition again. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Also to all of you, thank you so much.